At some point, you'll suddenly wake up and feel like you've been living but weren't truly alive. You were laughing, moving, going out, but inside, you were silently collapsing. You were wasting your time, wasting your life, and worst of all, you started getting used to this kind of life. You'd procrastinate, regret, and tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow." But tomorrow never comes, and one day you'll hate your old self and feel that you either rise now or fade away forever. And this is where everything begins. This video isn't just motivation, it's a real warning. A 30-day psychological challenge that erases the worst version of you and rebuilds you from the inside, step by step. I'll give you the psychological weapons and practical steps, supported by science, experience, and real change. But there's one condition. Watch the video until the end, because change doesn't start in the first minute, but in the minute you always used to stop. Before we begin, what you're about to see isn't just temporary motivation, but a real 30-day experiment. A proven psychological plan that I've followed closely and guided others through, and I've seen how a lost person can completely transform with simple yet precisely designed steps. And because I've seen this change happen right before my eyes, I'll guide you through this challenge step by step until you reach it yourself. Week 1. From Lost to Breaking the First Cycle. My friend's name was Liam. He was a quiet young man, not very talkative, but anyone who got close to him felt that something was disturbed inside him. From the outside, he seemed normal, but I noticed the weariness in his voice and the lost look in his eyes. Liam wasn't a failure, but he was stuck in the same routine every day. He'd stay up late, wake up tired, immediately grab his phone, and get lost in videos and empty chatter. Then he'd feel regret and tell himself, "Tomorrow I'll start." But he never did. I wasn't far from him because I had been through this same cycle myself before, and I knew exactly the feeling of living your day knowing you're wasting your time. And when I noticed what he was going through, I approached him and said, "Liam, there's only one thing that can change this cycle. A simple challenge, just 30 days. One step each week, not perfect, but real. And you just need to commit, even if you don't see immediate results." He was silent for a moment, then said, "I'm ready." So I replied, "Then we start now." Now it's your turn. Maybe you don't know Liam, but perhaps you've seen yourself in some of what he lived. You might be one of those who stay up aimlessly, start your day with your phone, waste your time, then regret it and tell yourself, "Tomorrow I'll start." But you don't. That's why this challenge was designed, not because you're weak, but because you deserve a real beginning. Because you need a clear path that gives you back control over your time and grants you greater self-respect. And by the end of these days, you won't be the same as you were. You'll be closer to the version you always wanted, more focused, more aware, and more respectful of your life. Science explains why we procrastinate and how to break it. In your brain, there are what are called reward circuits. These are what make you feel pleasure or accomplishment. But when you get used to quick rewards like short videos, chatting, and instant entertainment, it becomes difficult to get excited about something long-term, like studying, developing skills, or building yourself up. That's why the first week is the hardest, because you're trying to reprogram your brain and teach it to enjoy focus, patience, and deep satisfaction. Mission of Week 1. In the first week, I didn't ask Liam to become a new person or to read 10 books or to change all his habits. I told him, observe your day and choose just one habit that wastes your time every day. He thought, then said, my phone. The first thing I do when I open my eyes is grab it immediately and scroll for an hour or more. So I told him, That's the first goal this week. Don't start your day with your phone. Before you touch it, give yourself 20 minutes for something useful. Anything. Writing, exercise, planning your day, reading. Even if you don't like reading, just read 2 pages. At first, the 20 minutes were difficult, but after a few days, he started to feel something different. A subtle calm, a sense of accomplishment, and something inside him saying, "I'm improving." And this is your mission too. Don't change everything at once. Just choose one habit that steals your time and replace it with 20 minutes of focus on something that benefits you or brings you closer to the life you want. Don't start your day with chaos. Start it with something that gives you back control. And if you feel bored or hesitant, always remember, the first step is what breaks the chain. What you've done this week isn't simple. You've started to change direction and broken the first barrier. And what awaits you in the coming days isn't just steps, but a real transformation in your way of thinking. Week 2. From mental chaos to inner clarity. By the end of the first week, I started to notice something different about Liam. He hadn't become a superhuman, and all his problems hadn't disappeared, but his features had changed. He started waking up earlier, his face was calmer, and his words were fewer, but deeper. On the 8th day, he told me, "I feel like I'm starting to understand myself, but there's still something inside me that confuses me, as if my head is full of restless thoughts." And here, we began to move to the second stage of the challenge, cleaning the mind of chaos and establishing a space for clear focus. The goal this week: most people don't fail because they're stupid, but because their minds are too busy with too many thoughts, so they can't focus on one thing. You think about the future and the past. You worry about people's opinions. You start a project, then stop after 2 days. And all of that is due to one thing: internal clutter that doesn't give you a chance to hear your true voice. Science explains why our minds are cluttered. Your mind is like a room. If you don't clean it regularly, it fills up with noises, comparisons, and worries until you completely lose focus. This is clearly explained by psychology. Distributed attention accumulation. It's like opening too many tabs in your brain and leaving them open all the time, losing control over any of them. The solution isn't to close everything at once, but to start with a clear space daily where you allow your mind to calm down and organize itself. Your mission in week 2: 20 minutes daily, without distractions. But beware, we don't mean meditation or aimless sitting, but a simple yet clean time. Example: sit in a quiet place and write down your thoughts on paper, or plan your day with a pen and notebook, or walk without your phone, thinking, observing, emptying your mind, or reading something that helps you understand, not for entertainment, but purely for understanding. This simple time will become the most important 20 minutes of your day, because in it, you hear yourself and begin to organize the chaos you thought couldn't be organized. Week 2 isn't harder than week 1, but it's deeper. And if you commit, you'll start to see the difference in your focus, in your decisions, and in your relationship with yourself. Week 3: from weak commitment to the power of discipline. At the beginning of week 3, I noticed something completely different about Liam. The change wasn't in his appearance, but in his behavior. He started waking up on his own, getting ready without delay, writing his notes on a small piece of paper, and telling me every morning, "Today I have a goal, even if it's small." I asked him, "What changed?" He replied with a slight smile, "For the first time, I feel like my day belongs to me." This sentence was enough for me to understand. Discipline isn't about being strict. It's about feeling like you're holding the reins of your day, and not letting it slip away meaninglessly. Why is this week important? Many people start with enthusiasm, but after a while, they lose it. Why? Because they don't build a habit. They rely only on mood. And if you wait to feel like starting, you'll likely never start. This is where discipline comes in. It's doing the action even when you don't feel enthusiastic. Science explains why daily commitment outperforms temporary enthusiasm. Psychology differentiates between two things. Motivation and mood come and go. Habit and discipline remain, because they don't depend on your momentary feeling. When you repeat a simple action every day at the same time and in the same way, your brain shortens the path and starts executing it automatically, even without thought or resistance. This is how the power of your deep mind begins to serve you, and you escape the prison of mood. Mission of Week 3: to build small but daily habit. Not just any habit, but one that brings you closer to your goal or self-improvement. Sometimes you don't need more than 15 minutes a day to start. Learn a simple skill that stirs something new in you. Perhaps design, a language, or even applied reading that changes your perspective on things. Or start with a small detail, like tidying your space before bed with one step, to feel that chaos is starting to leave your surroundings. And in the morning, sit for a few minutes, hold your pen, and manually plan your day, as if you're waking up your mind with your own hand. And before you sleep, write one question in your notebook. What did I accomplish today? And let the answer remind you that you are on your way, even if it's just one step. The only condition? Commit to it daily for 7 consecutive days. Why? Because consistency sends a message to your brain. I am serious. And when your brain understands this message, it starts helping you instead of resisting you. By the end of this week, you won't become superhuman, but you'll become a person who trusts themselves more, because they see their actions getting done, not just remaining intentions. And what awaits you in Week 4 is bigger than everything that's past. Week 4: from distraction to relentless focus. At the beginning of Week 4, Liam told me a sentence I'll never forget. I now know what I want, but the problem is, I can't focus on it. Liam had started setting his goals, organizing his day, and trying to commit. But his mind still escaped him every moment. Sometimes because of a notification, sometimes because of a random thought, and sometimes for no clear reason. And this is what most of us face today. We have strong intentions, but our minds no longer know how to stay in one place. Why is focus so difficult in this era? The reason is simple, but dangerous. You don't suffer from a lack of focus, but from an environment designed to destroy it. From the moment you wake up, phone, notifications, short videos, constant distractions, everything around you tries to steal your attention and trains your brain to jump from one thought to another without completing one. And so, you lose your ability to focus even on the simplest things. What science says about distraction. In neuroscience, there's a concept called scattered dopamine. This is what happens when your brain gets small, quick rewards throughout the day. A like, a notification, an entertaining video. It gets used to this pattern and becomes unable to tolerate deep focus, just like someone who ate candy all day then was asked to eat a real meal. They wouldn't feel like it and wouldn't be able to stomach it. Mission of Week 4: cut off sources of temporary distraction and train your brain for true focus. The task is simple, but powerful. Every day, dedicate just 30 minutes to focus on one task without any interruptions. Turn off your phone or put it away. Choose a quiet place and start with a clear task. Studying, writing, a skill. Analytical reading, planning a project. The secret isn't in the length of time, but in the purity of that time from distractions. Repeat this exercise every day at the same time, and you'll start to see the difference yourself within just 3 days. By the end of week 4, Liam calmly told me, "I'm starting to feel like I control my day, not the other way around." His sentence was simple, but it meant a lot, because if a person starts to control their focus, they've started to regain control over their life. And so, in just 4 weeks, Liam emerged from the worst version he was living in and began to rebuild himself with calmness, confidence, and small but steady steps. Challenge summary. What did we do in 30 days? In week 1, we started by breaking the first cycle of routine and changed the start of the day to be a real beginning, not chaos. In week 2, we learned how to clear the clutter from our minds and give ourselves quiet time to understand and think. In week 3, we built the first daily habit, a simple but consistent habit that breaks procrastination and instills discipline. In week 4, we trained the mind for focus, isolated sources of distraction, and regained control over our attention. Each week was a small step, but together they created something big. You are not who you were. You are closer to yourself, stronger in your decisions, and more aware of your moments. Conclusion: what's next? But there's one last question. What's next? Do you stop here, or do you begin the phase where this change becomes permanent, not temporary? After Liam completed the challenge, it wasn't more than 20 days until he opened his first small business, a simple cafe he had dreamed of for years. I was the first to visit him, and I sat on a wooden chair in front of him, and he handed me a cup of coffee without asking. And when I wanted to pay, he said to me with a deep smile, "You're the only customer who doesn't pay, because you were the first person to change something in my way of life." At that moment, I understood something. One word, a simple plan, a clear challenge, can completely change a person's trajectory. This challenge isn't just ideas. Everything you've seen here is built on real experiences, genuine psychological studies, and techniques people use daily to rise again after years of distraction and loss. I won't tell you that change is easy, but it's possible, and this challenge is the proof. Finally, if you found yourself in this video, even in a small way, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel, because what's coming will be deeper, and I'll be with you every step of the way. Write in the comments, what habit will you start breaking today? And I will read every word myself. And if you feel that this video might change someone you know, don't hesitate to share it with them. Perhaps you'll be the reason for a new beginning in their life. YouTube's algorithms chose this video for you because it's the best, and it might be the next step in your journey.